What's up, guys? I'm Leon and this is Leon's Garage. Now I'm in a new section of the town of the metro here, but that's neither here nor there because I wanted to show you guys something I just picked up a little while ago. It's my new to me 06 Chevy Silverado, or should I go? Now this is my new to me Chevy Silverado. Now, I'm not Doug DeMuro, so I'm not going to go over all the quirks and features of it, but I do want to show you guys some of the interesting tidbits of this particular Silverado. But I also do want to go over just a little bit of information in general about the 99 to 06, or sorry, 99 to 07 Chevy Silverado, or they also call this the GMT 800 platform. Now this platform is the first generation Silverado before it was called the CK. Not sure why, but that's how they wanted to do it. This has what would be like the updated or the facelifted headlights with the cool Hawkeye. And this Silverado, and they did a few important updates from the first generation Silverado to the last generation CK. And the biggest one was upgrading the engine from the old LS small block with a certain, I think it was a throttle body type injection system to the LS engine. The let's go with the world famous, completely notorious LS engine family is in this truck. Now, one other issue about this truck is that, or this generation of trucks, is they do have, at least with the 1500, is they have the weak, anemic 4L60E automatic transmissions. And that's what this truck has, and issues with it is it shifts kind of funny, and when I looked it up, actually the torque it can handle is about the same amount of torque as the LS engines have, especially at 5.3. 4.8 puts out a little bit less torque than the 5.3 because it's a smaller engine. But the 5.3 puts around like 315, 320 foot-pounds of torque. That's about what the transmissions are rated. So that's why they're not that great. It's because when you're towing the haul and stuff and you're right at the limit, that's when you really start causing problems with the transmission. And let's also check out some interesting things about this truck. And you do see that it's got the little, I'm not even sure what that's called. Okay, the audio cut out, but talk about the shaded hood guard. Of course, the previous owner, they threw that on there. But as you can see here, there's some water in the lenses for the turn signal. That's the driver's side, and then it's there on the passenger side too. So I really haven't even barely seen that, so I was a little surprised when I first saw it, but it's there, and that's just one other issue I got to deal with. And I did like the aftermarket wheels. This nice little flash to the truck. Looks interesting. But there are those security lug nuts. I don't like those. It's kind of a irritation and a hassle to take the wheels off. Pretty sure people aren't gonna jack those wheels off my truck, so I'm eventually gonna convert those. Yeah, the trim. Okay, yep, now I'm missing a lug nut for the rear right here, as you can see. Yeah, that trim's off, and there's a little badge that's missing. It's got a little bit of rust right there because it's missing paint. A little bit more rust. A little paint chip right there. I do have some paint, and so eventually I'll make a video about that too. And here I'm getting to the tailgate, and the latch, or I should say the handle, you could just feel that it's a little bit wore out. So that might be something. But oh, then I'm also talking about the bed liner here and how it's just no bed liner at all. So eventually, I'm either gonna get a plastic one or get the paint. So I really just don't like this the uncovered and unprotected beds, just because it looks worse, especially when you use it a lot. I'm leaning towards painting it just because bed liners are so large. Just shipping it and going somewhere to pick it up, but and especially since the truck's not running now, but it's just something I am gonna eventually work on. Just another paint chip right there. Nothing too crazy. Another bad paint spot right there. A little bit of rust, but ain't nothing. A little sandpaper and a little powered sander won't be able to take care of with some touch-up paint. And on this angle right here, you can't tell, but that trim is faded right there too. That's just the other wheel. Yeah, let's check out the inside. Yeah, those are spark plugs that are replaced because the truck wasn't running quite right. But those were the wrong ones, so that's partially why it still wasn't quite running perfect. And then I got some tools in there, especially the dolly. Yep. You can see I got the toe straps in there and some rags. Yep, got the floor mats in there too. Oh, here the seats. Yeah, the seat cushion's a little wore out. That's why you see that little extra cushion on top. It's because I'm a little bit overweight, so when that seat cushion goes out, gets a little bit wore out. Oh man, I can feel it. My back be hurting, so definitely gotta replace that cushion. I did look up some cushions, so eventually I'm gonna do that. But also, yeah, the power seat controls aren't working either, so that's something I'm gonna have to dig into. Oh, out of focus. But yeah, also the locks and unlock buttons intermittent because it wasn't working until I started shooting. Yeah, and the passenger side window doesn't go down, so definitely need to diagnose what's wrong with that. Yeah, let's have that all nice and focused. I didn't do a pre-purchase inspection because I was looking around. I did see that this looked pretty doggone good. It was a little bit cleaner, but this little airbox hose in the airbox, I said, whoa, that looks pretty new. And then the AC compressor looked nice and shinier than it does now. I said, wow, that looks pretty new too. And I also noticed that the brackets in the ignition coils look pretty new. I was like, what is this going on here? Then I saw it was looking pretty new on this side too. And then the brake booster looks pretty new too, along with the brake master cylinder. So I said, what the heck is going on here? Then I was also, I don't know if you guys can see it, but I was also able to tell that the water pump look is brand new too, or at least only a few years old. And also the fuel rails look new too. Over here. Well, it's pretty dark over here on that side, so I'm gonna stay on this side. And then the intake manifold looks pretty new too. Now the valve covers don't. Exhaust manifolds, those are gotta be from the original engine. cylinder heads don't quite look new, but when I was looking at it, all these different components that look pretty new, I said, well, these are pretty reliable and pretty easy to fix. So even though I'm not getting a mechanic to look at it, I can take the risk, and I can jump on it, and I can fix anything else. And it's not just tow and haul stuff, but this will also be my test bed for cool modifications, because I do want to throw these LS1 or LS2 engines from the slightly newer generation Silverado, throw that in a different vehicle, maybe RX-8, maybe a BMW 5 Series. Well, that's far into the future. It's not like I could get any of those vehicles in the next 3 or 4 months. So it's going to be a while before I even talk about anything like that. But I can do some modifications so I can see how it changed the performance and the horsepower of the vehicle. But one big thing I can say is I do not want to go that big on the camshaft. I don't want a big chop, because this is going to be mostly a work truck. I'll be doing a whole bunch of hauling stuff, so that's really one thing I don't want to do. I could go with the smaller performance cams that only have a little bit of a chop, so I go with that. I'm going to do some other exhausts, probably do short tube headers. I don't think I want to do long tubes. Definitely going to have cats on it, so I'm going to be able to do a whole bunch of fun stuff with the truck, but I'm not going to go too wild with it, because I do also want to upgrade the transmission. So that's definitely going to be in the future. So definitely got a plan on that. Got to research, got to get a few parts for it, but this is going to be pretty exciting stuff. So make sure you guys keep checking me out. I could also tell that the radiator looked like it got replaced pretty recently too. So when I saw the radiator was also recently replaced, so these hoses also look, I didn't think about the hoses, but this radiator hose up top looks like it got replaced with the radiator. I'm pretty sure this one's the hot one, so that's the most important one. The lower one, it was probably replaced around the same time. It's hard to get you down there. I can't really tell either. Then I was also able to see that the AC compressor is new. Oh, it's kind of dark in there. I didn't bring my light, but yeah, with a lot of these components, a lot of these components that are fairly new, I said, man, this is looking pretty good. And it also did come with some big issues, and it does burn oil. So it's burning a fair amount too. So it ends up being that it's like burning a quart every 1,000 miles or every 500 miles, something pretty high. I will eventually need to yank this engine out and replace it, but since it's the 5.3 first generation LS engine family, just go to the junkyard, get a different LS engine thrown in here, fix this one up, and then throw this in a different vehicle. I don't know if I'll do anything more than just replace the pistons, but that'd be in the future too. But if it's burning a lot of oil, because it is burning a fair amount, sometimes I'll start it up, it'll start puffing out good amount of smoke. Yeah, I'm always thinking, yeah, it's not so good. But some of those issues I'll have to address later on. But now I can just shoot a couple videos about me fixing it, maintaining it, and later on we could get to some of the fun. All right, I also need to mention, not liking this. Also need to mention that I did replace the rear tires. It just happened to be that soon after I bought this truck from a dealership, that I went to Tire Rack's YouTube site, and they just happened to put out a video about how videos, or mostly one video about touring tires for mostly pickup trucks and big SUVs. And me, I think that was just God saying, oh, yep, I wanted you to buy a pickup truck around this time. That's why it just happened to be that some of the information you needed about some good touring tires for a pickup truck, Tire Rack just happened to test some good tires, a bunch of good ones, and I picked out pretty much the second best tires that they reviewed. And it's the Bridgestone dualers. I put them in the 265 70R17s. Yeah, I went up the width a little bit. I think it's mostly to get the extra strength in the tire for just in case whenever I tow something. Right now it's not going to come into play, but they cost a pretty penny too, because a lot of you guys that have trucks know, yeah, these truck tires aren't cheap. So I replaced two, and then the two on the fronts, they're actually different brands. I think they're different sizes too. So, and then the brands, they're just a cheapo tire. So I'm definitely gonna have to replace those with the Bridgestone dualers in the front too, so the truck just ride and handle a little bit better. And then this is also an extended cab 2-wheel drive model. I wanted the extended cab so I could put some tools into the vehicle and not really have to worry about anybody stealing it, because they can't get into it, especially with the dolly and some of the tow straps. But really the dolly in a single cab, you can't really throw a dolly right there. So definitely want an extended cab. Also, so I could carry more people, but I'm not really gonna be driving people around, so that's why I didn't want the crew cab. Then I also wanted the extended cab so the bed could be a little bit longer, because this is the bed that's about 6.5 feet. So I definitely needed that, so when I'm hauling stuff, more stuff can just be laid out in the bed versus having to throw it up on the tailgate and stuff. And then I wanted 2-wheel drive because the primary function of this truck is to be hauling stuff, and pretty much a lot of you guys know that a lot of the cargo vans, or pretty much all the cargo vans, just 2-wheel drive. So since I'm just going to be hauling stuff mostly and just driving around, I don't want 4-wheel drive, and I don't need 4-wheel drive. Plus I got these gray hairs on me, so I really know what I'm going to be doing with it, what I'm not going to be doing. And I'm definitely not going to be doing any off-roading or any rock crawling or anything like that. So definitely didn't need 4-wheel drive. And if I did want to do that, I'd get another vehicle or rent it out. But I know what I'm going to do with this vehicle. And then also, I live in Atlanta Metro. We don't really get snow. When we do, it's going to be a couple inches. This truck will handle a couple inches of snow just fine, just like most any vehicle out here, as long as the tires are in good condition. You don't really need 4-wheel drive, so that's why I definitely chose to get a 2-wheel drive Silverado. The other option that I would have considered would be a single cab long bed with an 8-foot bed, and then I could throw the dolly just in the bed. But then I would have to worry about, I definitely would need to get like a tonneau cover, probably a leather one, so I could retract it, because I don't want a hard one and not be able to put really big stuff in the bed at all. So definitely the single cab long bed would have been a solid choice for me too. But the extended cab 6.5 foot bed was definitely the best choice for me. And then also need to get a tow hitch. There's no tow hitch on here yet, or the tow ball, so need to get one of them. I'll be able to also tow stuff. So towing's not ready yet, but I'll get that ready soon. Well, then my truck actually does have the G80, so it does have a limited slip diff, or maybe they call it for the trucks a locking rear diff. So since that's in the truck, I really don't have to worry about trying to get a Eaton limited slip diff. But it's not working that well. Eventually I have to replace it with that. So I'm liking that it's got the limited slip diff. And I think that's about it for this Chevy Silverado. So I think I'll check you guys in the next one.